touch the floor before your foot.
What makes you say that?
Well, that, Conor McGregor guy who's like, he talks a lot like before he fights, and then all of a sudden, like, he just gets destroyed by Dustin Poirier for the second time in 6 months?
Did he really get destroyed by Dustin Poirier, though?
He would have. Because McGregor won like the first 2 minutes of that 5-minute round, and Poirier dominated the last 3, including breaking his leg.
I think Poirier was in his head. Conor was coming out like emotionally. And
he was.
Just spending himself.
McGregor actually looked like he was ready to fight this time. Like the last time, he just was getting punch, and just getting dominated.
You don't think he would have turned it around in the second half?
Third trimester, actually.
Oh. Second half, yeah. What do you mean the second half?
There's
5 rounds,
like
man.
the second half of the fight.
That was the joke. I thought you were making a joke. Oh, okay.
It was being serious.
That's why I said that. I'm over watching the UFC. I hate
what?
I hate spending hours watching these people that I don't really care about. Although Sean O'Malley,
you don't pay
that's
for
good
it,
entertainment. No.
Yeah,
well, actually, yeah, I do.
You pay for
our buddies go in on it. I don't know. We're not good at illegally streaming stuff. When it's broken up amongst like 6 people, I don't.
It's like $10.
I don't know. I was drunk. I don't remember how much I paid. It was like in the teens, but I'm over it. I don't know. I just don't like waiting around.
We're not very
and
good at
illegal
illegal streaming. How old are you, and what year is it?
Nah.
Wow, that's embarrassing. If you don't know how to illegal stream something, especially UFC, if you don't even like it, I get that. I wouldn't want to pay for something that lasts 5 minutes. It's very true. All right. So you don't like UFC, essentially, is what we're getting.
I'm just over watching these fights. They bore me. I'm not a big combat sport guy. My friends have tried to get me into the UFC, and I'm underwhelmed every single time because nothing has lived up to the hype.
It's the championship fights. That's the problem. You got to watch the stuff below that where they're like actively, they need to try because if they lose, that's their only shot. If they win, they actually have a chance at the title.
That's fair. I also just feel like the world of combat sports in general, and specifically the UFC, is like it's kind of like trying to get into like international soccer, like. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of names, faces, people involved. I don't know. Seems like an undertaking that just isn't worth it, in my opinion.
So you like wrestling, The Undertaker?
No, I would rather watch UFC than WWE.
Fair enough. SmackDown. All right. Well, welcome to the Locker Room, number 51. I'm your host, Justin Reed, and next to me here is Andrew Tenney.
Facts.
And we are here in the Spokane Talk studio in the Holly Mason building, downtown Spokane. Hopefully we get a train coming by. Just adds a nice little touch to the show, I think.
Sure does.
Sure does. All right. I think it's your turn to do my favorite part of the show. Actually, it's going to become my second favorite part of the show here.
Ooh.
Pretty darn soon.
Well, it's going to remain my favorite part of the show. I'm not just going to put them in the backseat like that. But you guys know, we all know, we're sponsored by Lucky Bird. Lucky Bird is a Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company helping local companies scale in the online world of e-commerce. Wow, I just skipped lines on that hard.
This is your first time?
Wow, yeah, it is. No, it's actually my 51st time.
Oh.
Should I start over?
Yeah, I think
I conflated 2 different sentences.
You kind of ruined. You kind of ruined this whole ad read. What's the purpose of it?
I don't know. I think this is going well. Visit luckybirdbrands.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today. Boom.
Nice. There you go.
All right.
So smooth.
I wonder when McGregor, or not even just McGregor, but when anybody breaks a bone so severe like that, like he stepped on his skin. Like, I mean, there was nothing there. Like, I wonder, like, with compound fractures too, it breaks through the skin. Like, is that how skin tags are formed? Or is there's other ways, of course, but I mean, like, something bad has to form on your skin, I think. Like, that's not just something that just goes away. I'd have to guess. Are you a doctor?
Not anymore.
Number 51, Randy Johnson.
Seattle legend, Barkevius Mingo.
He's a legend for the wrong things right now. But I guess, technically he will forever go down in the history books.
Yeah.
Ichiro, of course. I actually really messed up. I should have wore my Ichiro jersey today, considering it's episode 51.
Yeah, no kidding.
That was my mistake. Anyone else for me?
Lofa
Tupu. DUI King.
Bruce
Irvin was
some of the gnarliest teeth.
Yep, that is true. And former Pro Bowl, or soon-to-be Pro Bowler, Kerry Hyder, newest Seahawk in 2021. You heard it here first.
Yep.
He will have 9.5 sacks.
I actually think Poona Ford's got a better chance to be a Pro Bowler than Kerry Hyder does.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people are high on Poona right now.
Yeah, no, the Pro Football Focus guys are all over him.
Well, he's weird. He's like 5'10". He has tiny little T-Rex arms. and he's actually very well received by advanced metrics.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Undrafted out of Texas a few years ago. Kind of of a surprise, actually, but it is because of those measurables is the reason why he did, in fact, not get drafted. Some GU news here for you. Did you watch any of the Chet Holmgren highlights?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I did. I saw a few.
Are you upset about his performance? Or
no.
What,
no,
why do you say it
all.
like, yeah? I mean, I kind of saw it, I guess.
He looks very good.
Can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, I'm being serious.
Okay, he looks really good.
Yeah.
Let's be careful here. He was the best player in that tournament. That's why he won MVP. He's a unicorn. Like he literally is more Porzingis than Porzingis is.
He's got a lot more skill than Porzingis does.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, but everybody saw Porzingis coming into the NBA like this guy can handle the ball. He can shoot. He can play down low. If Chet adds 50 more pounds, 60, 63, I think is
and that's going to be hard because he's so young and his frame is the way that it is. I mean, he's one of those guys that gives me I'm just in a perpetual state of
right, and
anxious.
that's fair, but he's never had any, as far as I understand, any sort of like lower body injury that you would expect a guy who's that tall and that lanky to have. And he's also very hard on his guys. Well, I was watching him dive around the floor in high school, and I'm like, dude, let's simmer that down.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be a little careful here. You're not like Jalen Suggs, where you're a former football player, where I expect you to make those plays. Skip Bayless called him the best white American player since Larry Bird, or will become the best white player since Larry Bird. Probably fair. There's not many out there.
Yeah, I mean, if he ends up being what he's projected to be able to do, especially once he gets to the pro level, obviously we've got to see an entire year.
Well, the top ones just of this century, you have Gordon Hayward, J.J. Redick, Kevin Love, or probably
Adam Morrison.
Yeah, probably. We'll probably put him up there.
How long do you think he stays at GU for?
Oh, he's one and done. Chet Holmgren. If he doesn't leave after a year, something happened. Actually, he could get hurt and miss the entire season and still get drafted probably number 1 overall.
It's true. Well, isn't there some Turkish player that's now projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 draft? I'm pretty sure there is. I don't think it's going to be Chet, unless Chet has
a great year, of course.
Yeah.
Really, I did not.
Yeah,
see
some
that.
Turkish player. I think he's like 7'2", and I don't know. Everybody's 7'2". Everybody's 7'2" and can handle and shoot, except none of them are good.
I don't see him on this one. Oh, is it Nikola Jovic? There's a Nikola Jovic coming out.
Sounds about right.
Sounds like the poor man's version of Nikola Jokic.
Nice.
That's pretty interesting. No, but I'll have to keep looking, but I don't see him at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm sure, this could be old. I don't know when this was. NBA draft or whatever. But no, so Chet had he had a really good. Was this was the Olympics, right? This was U19 or the World something. I don't know what it was called actually, but it was definitely, he was playing around like other top. Skip Bayless is 69 years old this year.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
He looks great. Have you seen him shirtless? You haven't seen him shirtless or in wife beaters with a chain?
I usually stay away from those websites.
Nice. Twitter?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, especially if he's 69 years old.
Well, you look good, you talk good. You look good, play good. I think it's the old adage.
Yeah, we did that last week.
Yeah, we did. Well, we'll continue doing that. So Chet will be very good this year. He won MVP. He's just so smooth on the ball. You watch him play, and you just don't expect a guy who's that tall to be able to handle the ball that well. He was 7 for 13 from 3, had 6.5 assists per 40 minutes, and he's fluid. He guards the rim very well for a guy.
That's maybe the most impressive thing that I saw.
He can afford to give up that weight and that strength because he can be standing underneath the basket and still make a difference on every single shot.
Or guys can get by him on their first step,
right.
When they're driving to the rim. It doesn't really matter because he has the reach to be able to make up.
You hear about recovery speed. He has recovery reach.
He really does, yeah.
For sure. So he'll be exciting to watch here. He's in Spokane already, or has been in Spokane outside of this tournament. He's getting ready for the 2021 season, which GU is expected to be number 1 in the preseason rankings, and actually once the rankings come out during the regular season. I think this team has the potential to be even better than last season, so that will be fun to watch. The other GU news, MLB draft just happened, only 20 rounds, but Zags did have 3 guys get drafted, starting off with Brett Harris, the third baseman, was drafted in the 8th. Oh, man. You think I'd know this since I actually wrote about this? But, here's my story even. Maybe I should check that out. Harris was drafted in the 7th round, 218th overall by the Athletics. And then shortstop Ernie Yake was drafted in the 10th round, 309th overall by the Twins. It took a little bit longer for Alec Jacob, who, surprisingly, being a second-team All-American, it took him a while to get drafted. He was in the 16th round with the 490th pick to the San Diego Padres. And what's really funny about this is Creme 2 wrote this article, and they said Spokane's Alec Jacob was taken by the San Diego Padres. They added a D to the end of San.
Racism.
Whoops. Not great there, Creme. Not surprising. That's pretty funny, though. So cool. I mean, the Zags putting 3 guys in the pros. This doesn't even include some potential free agent signings. Is pretty impressive. I mean, this is a small team from a non-baseball town. Who wants to play baseball in Spokane when you can go play on California or in Texas, somewhere where it's warm and you can actually play baseball 12 months out of the year? Pretty impressive stuff. We'll see how much money they end up making and how well they do. But this team almost hosted a regional, almost made it to the College World Series. Eventually, they will break through and do it. Not quite yet, though. Do you like any other baseball? I mean, do you really like baseball at all?
No, I love playing baseball, but watching it, I just can't.
I was going to invite you to play softball last night. That's why I asked if you were working.
Oh,
we needed an extra guy.
We
need an extra guy.
You just start out by asking me or telling me why you're asking me the questions that you
I know,
instead
but
of just leaving
me
hanging.
I like being very mysterious about why I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing tonight?
Evidently.
Working? Nice. Okay. Thanks.
The extent of the interaction.
Pretty much. Yeah, we ended up finding a guy, though. Won both games. No big deal. We're 6-0, but it's fine.
Very nice.
Yeah. We actually had a nice comeback in our second game. We couldn't give up. We were up 24-18 going into the bottom of the 7th. We gave up 4 runs and won by 2. It was actually a pretty intense game.
Yeah, that math checks out.
It was pretty insane, actually. All right. Well, this was actually, I did want to mention one thing. Did you see the Angels drafted 20 pitchers?
Yeah, I did.
Every single one of their 20 draft picks, they picked a pitcher.
I kind of like it. It's like when teams in the NFL use picks in rounds 4 through 7 to get 3 different quarterbacks.
Right.
Just let's throw it all at the wall, see what sticks.
We'll get one, right?
I kind of like it. I'm sure you can chalk that up to analytics or something.
Well, their pitching is
cutting edge.
Horrendous.
That's right.
That's 100% why, but there must have been a reation for it. First time that had ever happened, and leave it to the Angels to do it, I guess.
Trendy.
Very trendy. So next week, I want to talk a little bit about the Mariners draftees. So we'll put that in the notes. We'll talk about the Mariners draft next week. Baseball's so weird. The draft is the least impactful across all major sports.
100%. And what percentage of these guys actually end up even having a cup of coffee in the major leagues?
What's really funny, too, is when you read some of these scouting profiles, it says this guy was most likely drafted for organizational depth. This guy is drafted to be a AAA player max. No better than that. But he's going to be our AAA catcher for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
It's very interesting stuff. So, yeah, that's not super worthwhile, but we will talk a little bit about it next week. Let's see. What do we want to do next? Do we want to talk NBA?
I mean, we might as well. There was a finals game that was played last night.
They tied it up. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, they sure did.
I missed it all because I was busy winning softball. But
I also missed it because I was working, so not exactly.
Do they not have TV down there?
They do, but it's all the way across the bar.
What?
And yeah, it's.
I think I need to go in there and complain and be like, "There's no TVs. I'm going to leave."
You probably should. Yeah, no, I'd appreciate it.
All right.
I'm sure they're going to, yeah. One complaint usually fixes everything.
It fixes everything. Giannis had a nice block, I saw.
Yeah, he really did. He had an off game, but he definitely made his impact felt, especially down the stretch of the game, even though he didn't have a great shooting night. Right. And he keeps doing this thing where he has to check out within the first couple minutes of the first quarter. And he said to the reporters and everything in his post-game press conference that he had to, what do you guys call it? Take a tinkle? So he said that he had to pee. I think he's just like too jacked up. It's kind of like the Kevin Garnett or like Dennis Rodman thing. Is like they're just like too amped, and so they're like running around, just kind of being a little careless, just throwing themselves. And it's just like, hey, breathe, chill. If you shoot the ball, you're gonna break the backboard.
They just come out awfully flabbergasted. Like they're just like all over the place, and they just really they literally are like in the zone where they not that they're making mistakes per se. It's just they're almost too up there.
Well, they're just like playing outside of themselves or trying to. And
they're trying. I think that's the best way. They're trying to, which in fact puts them not quite outside of themselves.
Exactly.
And they're just they're nowhere to be found.
Right.
Like they're playing blacked out.
But lucky for Bucks fans and Giannis himself, Chris Middleton finally had his one game of series that he looks like Kevin Durant, and he had 40.
Good time for it.
Yeah, wasn't the greatest shooting percentage, but really down the stretch. I mean, he is and was the closer of that game. And then, Giannis had that block that you were referencing. There was about just over a minute left. I believe it was 99-101. The Bucks were up 2. So that Devin was driving to the lane. There were about 4 Bucks that collapsed on him, and he had a beautiful alley-oop.
And if only I could have 4 Bucks just surround me while I'm hunting, that'd be nice.
Nice.
You laid that.
All it takes is 1 buck to, I don't know.
It does.
Something. Giannis. Anyway, he blocked a shot. It was a huge momentum swing. And
it was, what, a 2-point game at the time?
It was a 2-point game, so he denied the tie on that lob.
The last minute and something seconds.
Devin Booker finally went off. This was the best shooting game that he's had since Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals.
He's had nobody else shot anything.
No, nobody did. He also should have been called for like his 8th or 9th foul in regulation we're talking about. He had a very obvious foul on Drew Holiday that wasn't called, but Giannis was there for the putback, which would have been his 6th with, I don't know, like 5 minutes left in the game. So I don't know if that was like some Adam Silver tinkering, just like, hey, which you would think he'd want the series to get to 2, unless, I don't know, the league office is just pulling for the Suns for reasons that off the top of my head, I'm not sure what they'd be. But anyway, so that was really weird. So it's a good thing that Milwaukee ended up winning the game and tying the series, because had what not been called on Booker, all these fouls that he accumulated but was not called for, had that played out and the Suns ended up winning, this would be like
a
disaster. Yeah, no, this would be a huge deal. Chris Paul's hurt. He can't dribble the ball. He lost the ball many times last night. He was sloppy with his handle. I mean,
having issues.
We know that he's had a wrist or a hand thing that has really been downplayed, but we've seen it, kind of taped up a couple times, and no one's really been talking about it. But it seems very apparent, especially after last night, that it's affecting him, because he's got one of the 3 best handles in the NBA, along with right. Steph and Kyrie, and he just couldn't last night, and he wasn't doing anything, and he's now the X factor, because if he doesn't show up like he hasn't in Milwaukee, then the Suns are dead, because they have no depth and they have no size. And Drew is exhausting both Devin and CP3, and I think Milwaukee's just wearing them down at this point. And I don't know. I think Milwaukee's in a pretty good spot. Obviously, they just won 2 consecutive games, so it's not a hot take for me to sit up here and say, oh, good position to win. But I don't know. I just think that the Suns, they don't have a lot left, and they're just kind of waning.
They're trying
in
to
their
coast,
existence,
and they need an extra burst.
And Mikal Bridges doesn't play like a NBA caliber starter unless he's at home.
Right.
Jay Crowder has kind of been giving him something, which is weird, because usually you can't exactly count on him.
Right.
And they have no depth. I mean, Cam Johnson's a decent shooter off the bench, but he's not giving you the volume that you need in campaigns, a liability on defense, and he's kind of streaky on offense, and can occasionally make some suspect passes or decisions with the ball.
Right.
And the Saric injury is really rearing its head. They can't put Frank Kaminsky on the floor. And no, it's just everything is pointing in Milwaukee's direction right now, and especially considering that Giannis didn't really have that great of a game, especially from the field. Yeah, and Drew shot 4 of 15, which is very on brand for him, especially these playoffs, but his defensive tenacity can't be overstated. And I don't know. I don't even think it's going to go to 7 now. I kind of feel like Milwaukee's got it.
You think?
I don't know.
Do you think they're going to win the next 2?
Just their length, man. They got more bodies to throw.
I think it helps when Phoenix plays at home.
It certainly does because you're going to get the performances like a guy, Mikal Bridges, and Ayton's probably going to play better. He's been relatively unimpactful the past 2 games since they got to Milwaukee. So I don't know, man. It's 2-2. It's what you want.
It is 2-2. This is what the NBA wants. This is what fans outside of – well, actually, this is what Milwaukee wants at this point. This is not what Phoenix would like to see. But sets up a nice Game 5 here tomorrow then.
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
Should be tomorrow. Should be tomorrow and Sunday, right?
Yeah, but when they went to Milwaukee, they gave them 3 days in between each game.
That's a good point. Well, we're running out of sports really that are happening right now because
it's
even
Saturday.
soccer's in a little bit – really?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Saturday and Monday? Or is it Saturday,
Tuesday.
Even a lot of break.
Yeah.
Well, all right. They're kind of losing me, but that's fine. I do want we'll do that at the end, actually. All right. Well, this was this. Let's do the segment we've been talking about for a couple weeks.
Yep.
We kept forgetting to do, but our top 5 current ESPN anchors, not personalities, so not Stephen A., which he wouldn't be on my top 5. He'll come up later in the show. But no sideline reporters or anything like that. Literally just the hosts of SportsCenter, top 5 currently. Kenny Mayne would be on my top 5. Unfortunately, he was fired in a wicked display of they just didn't appreciate him.
Negligence.
They just did not appreciate him at all. I think we're going to have some interesting lists here, actually.
So we're going to start at 5 and then count down to 1, right?
You want to do our honorable mention first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Kevin Nagandi.
That's fair.
Also, I'm basing this not exactly like on talent or whether they execute all of the beats of the job, but like when I turn on SportsCenter, it's like I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I'm 12 years old in 6th grade in the middle of the summer watching Little League.
The problem
and SportsCenter comes on
Kevin
after.
Nagandi is his co-host is Elle Duncan, who I don't really like. She's fine. She's not someone who I turn it on. I'm like, ugh, it's Elle Duncan, but like she really turned me off of that. Of when she said "granny" for Grand Slam.
Yeah,
I really didn't. Yeah, I really didn't like.
That's fair, and I'm glad that you pointed that out because there are a couple of people on my list that are they're typically paired with people that would negate, just overall the experience that would just be that solo host. But understood. Right, but so Kevin Nagandi, honorable mention.
So my honorable mention is probably going to be a little interesting. Is Scott Van Pelt.
You suck.
He didn't make my top 5. Wow. He got pushed out, to be fair. I don't like him by himself.
Okay.
I like when he has a co-host to go back and forth with, more so than I just like SVP as SVP.
Interesting.
Like when he comes on after, like for instance, a GU game, he's the 10 o'clock guy. After an 8 o'clock GU game, it's like, like I would have rather had Neil Everett, Kenny Mayne on there, at the SportsCenter at night.
Yeah.
To be, but the problem with Scott Van Pelt for me is he's very like, I'm Scott Van Pelt and I'm really good at what I do. And like, look at me, I have my own solo show.
He's actually not like that in the slightest.
It's
more the promotion surrounding the show, which is obviously what they're supposed to do. He's not like that in the slightest.
See, I kind of feel it, though.
Yeah, okay, have you ever listened to him when he was like on radio, like SVP or SVP and Rosillo, or have you listened to him on podcasts on long form?
I really love his analysis. I like his personality. I just don't like him as an anchor, a solo anchor.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Go. I guess I'm up for number 5.
Yep.
Okay, well, since you just took a shot at me, I'm going to take a shot at you. Neil Everett.
The fact that you put Neil Everett at 5 is
It's
heresy.
because I don't like Stan Verrett. You
don't like Stan Verrett?
I don't. He's just so vanilla, and he does this thing, and we all do this, especially when you're on television or you're talking a lot, but he butchers almost every common phrase or term.
I like it.
More frequently than so many people that I've seen.
It's called comedic relief.
It's called not knowing what the hell is coming out of your mouth. But no, Stan's just not my...
So you're putting Neil Everett at 5 for... your first reason was because of somebody else.
No. My first reason is actually because my relationship with him started hot and heavy, and it's just kind of faded. I still got that initial attraction to him, but everything else that I was enamored with at the beginning, it's kind of like, you know what? It's still there. I respect it. However, I'm just not absolutely infatuated with it anymore.
You're not feeling
as in
love?
Bartender, jacked.
How do you not like?
No, I'm not saying. Did you hear what I just
Nope,
said?
I can't even listen to you right now.
Obviously, yes.
The fact that you put Our boy Neil Everett at 5.
You didn't put SVP in the top 5, and he's like,
why would I put SVP at anywhere?
Okay, who's your number 5? We're gonna end the show.
Stan Verrett.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God! All right. Okay.
So the reason for that, it goes back to what you were just saying. Like Stan Verrett is Sports Center from forever. He's been there for 20 years. How can you not appreciate Stan Verrett and both his comedy and just his personality? It's fun.
That was great analysis. Thank you for breaking down all the great things that
I'm essentially
Stan
taking what you
Verrett
said that
brings
was
to the
bad
table.
about Stan Verrett and saying, I like those things about Stan Verrett.
I'm glad that you do. I'm glad somebody's out there.
Because, again, Stan Verrett's been there so long. All of these guys that are on my list and woman that have been there for 20-ish years. Like,
Spoiler.
none of... Like, it's just because they're long-standing people.
No, I get that.
Even if they're wearing thin, like Neil Everett, for instance, like, it'll always just be like, I love you guys.
I agree.
Feed me more Stan Verrett and everybody else that I have that's on my list.
Okay.
All right, who's 4?
Bucci Gras.
All right.
He's got a little. I really have come to appreciate like the hockey fandom of his, which I wasn't really privy to until like 100%. I don't know, the last like couple years.
Right,
yeah,
100%.
He was the one that's talking about guys having like quality heads of hair as like salads and like lettuce, and I really enjoyed that. He's grown the beard, and he's always the guy that's like, we are men talking about sports, wearing makeup, and yeah, I like.
He has nice facial hair right now. I don't know if he does right now.
He's a good-looking guy. Another kind of guy like Skip Bayless. Like I saw him in a cutoff one time, and I was like, dude's low-key jacked.
Well, probably because he's a hockey guy would be my guess.
Well,
he must be. He
just cares about his image.
Nope.
Which more people should. But
I think he's pretty short though.
Okay.
He seems short, right?
Maybe like I could see him being 6.
I think I would be like 5'10". Let's see here, because I am curious, because he always just seemed like a short guy to me. Let's see if his Wikipedia has his height. Nope. Nice. How old do you think he is?
I bet he is 56.
He is 56. Nicely done.
Sick.
6'4"? No way. What?
I don't know. Who's your number 4? We have 12 minutes here.
Yeah, you're right, but that is insane. I have Linda Cohn at 4.
Really?
Now that I'm looking at this, I might move her to 3.
Her face is melting.
Yeah,
every time she comes on the screen, I am like, you have aged a
lot.
5 weeks since the last time I saw you.
And I think some of that has to do with the fact that she has to carry some pretty subpar anchors sometimes.
That's fair. Yep.
And has to deal with ESPN's BS and SportsCenter's just like it's just bad. SportsCenter, ESPN has some problems right now, and we'll get to that in a second too. But she's again is just the classic OG, especially female anchor of SportsCenter, and
also a big hockey fan.
Knows her sports, is really good at what she does, and I like Linda Cohn.
She has rocked a lot of different hair colors too.
Yeah, she has, and she doesn't care about anything. But she's always she's just a staple for sure.
Okay,
so I'll do my 3 real quick.
Okay,
I have Bucci there. John Bucci Gras is 3 for me.
Nice.
I'm 3 and 4 actually probably go back and forth for me. Honestly, I really like both of them, and I kind of see them both in the same light. Where it's not like they're not my 2 favorites here, but I think they both have their history.
Okay, my number 3 is Hannah Storm.
I do really like Hannah Storm. She'd also be right in that 6, 7, 8 for me as well. But
another
really
OG. She never puts herself above or in front of the job. She's really clean, and she just especially with the top 3. Like I don't exactly have things that I can. There's not like analyses going on here. It's just like I turn it on and I feel like I'm home. Like it's just a very comforting presence and personality.
She's very good at her job too. Like
100%.
She doesn't usually go too far outside of sports.
And she comes from sports royalty. Her dad.
Oh. As in
I forget his first name, so I was kind of hoping that you were going to pick up what I wasn't able to.
No, can't do it. So that was your 3?
Yeah.
And who's your 2?
This is probably going to be a shocker to you, and it's probably because I have a crush on her.
What? You're missing a major person in your top 5.
Laura Rutledge?
Nope. We're about to get there. Laura Rutledge. No.
Sage Steele.
I also really like Sage Steele. She's also probably in my top 10. But you're missing somebody. Are you kidding me? Because SVP's one for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's because I know him the best. So when you're, quibbling about the things that he says or does, I know where those are coming from, and I know that it's just him doing the job and not him actually feeling or thinking these things, but he's just acting the part. So I have an appreciation for him that you obviously don't, but I've spent a lot more time listening to him just have conversations and just be himself rather than doing his job.
All right, let's play real quick. We played John Buccigross's This is SportsCenter commercial while I
he was the ABA commissioner. Hannah Storm's dad, Mike Storm. So,
cool.
History
lesson 101. Buccigross is This is SportsCenter commercial. I love these, by the way.
Yeah.
These are great.
Sure. Don't worry. They left for the game. Bram, this is Mark Helfrich. Get me Phil Knight, stat.
Think Urban would miss the spring?
Keep it. Bram. Playbook.
You sure?
No one's gonna know.
Yeah. I forgot. I have a meeting.
Yeah, no, I that guy on the left, I when I first saw that commercial, I'm like, oh, that's right, he was there for a minute.
He was.
He was there.
I don't remember his name. Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip my number 2 just for a second because I want you to play number 2 for me. So my number 1's Neil Everett, which you were probably expecting. Let's play that other guy who's not Neil Everett or John Buccigross. Let's play his commercial here real quick.
Scott, we want you to host a show at 6 p.m.
But 6 o'clock is dinner time.
You could eat at 5:30.
I could, but 6 o'clock's dinner time.
What if you eat after the show at 7?
7 o'clock's not dinner time.
Hey, John, what time is dinner time? 6 o'clock.
So I would love. I mean, I don't want to make you feel like a bad person here, but you missed John Anderson.
Good luck trying. I missed Steve Levy.
Steve
When it said
Levy's
J.
also
Levy
great.
right there. No,
I know.
I'm so pissed that I did that.
Steve Levy's also awesome. He's in my top
Okay,
10.
I'm dropping
Is John
Neil.
Anderson not in your top 5?
John Anderson, I can't. Sometimes I feel like he's not committing to. I feel like he's a great value version of Kenny Mayne. Like he's not committing to the bit all the time, like the dry, the sarcastic, just like the little throwaway lines that if you're really listening for it, you're going to pick up and appreciate.
I'm not even
it's
listening.
Scattered. It's not consistent. I'm about consistency. Steve Levy should have been on there on my list. That is my one retroactive.
Steve
change.
Levy is also in my top 10. Because he also is another one of those guys who he does his job.
Okay, so next week I think we should open it up to like overall like reporters, talents, talk show hosts. Yeah,
there's just too many over the years.
No, I know.
To do anything other than that. But yeah, I also agree. So yeah, John Anderson's 2 for me. The fact that you don't think John, is he in your top 10?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's more so longevity and,
John Anderson's awesome.
career resume more so than
Neil Everett is 1, considering he went to LC. He's a Spokane boy. He's number 1 forever and always, even above Kenny Mayne and anybody else. Nice, that was fun. My list is way better, but it's fine. All-Star game. What a terrible All-Star game, by the way.
Those
5-3.
uniforms are disgusting.
The uniforms are terrible.
So bad.
The play on the field
AL
was
has
terrible.
won, 8 straight now?
AL is consistently better. The west side of the country in general. You look at the NFC. You look at the NFC, for instance. NFC's better. You look at the Western Conference.
Well, the NFC and AFC aren't divided by regional.
I know, but I just visualize them more on the West, just based off of the fact that it's all of the conferences that Seattle is in.
Yeah,
Seattle sports. So you have the NFC, you have the Western Conference, you have the Western Conference and MLS, and then you have the American League, and they're all better.
And when Seattle comes back to the NBA, the Western Conference, what you're saying, all of those conferences are loaded.
And they've been loaded for like 20 years.
Always so much more difficult to get out of. Yeah.
Which is really weird.
No, it
I don't know
really
how
is.
that keeps happening. But essentially, I do want to mention a couple things about All-Star Weekend. The celebrity softball game is terrible. I love it, but I also hate it. I wish they would show it in its entirety.
Hot take, DK is not a good athlete.
DK Metcalf did strike out, which is super unfortunate to see in slow pitch softball. I don't understand how some of these, like, some of the best athletes of our generation are so bad at, like, throwing a baseball.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know how that happens. It is mind-boggling. And another weird thing that happened is Mike Zunino hit a home run. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see who he hit it off of?
No, remind me.
Taiwan Walker.
Oh, that's right.
Isn't that ridiculous? Are you? Mike Zunino doesn't deserve to be there, but Taiwan Walker does, so good for them to have that happen. We were going to talk more about the home run derby, but I don't really care. The only thing I do want to mention, Pete Alonso did go back-to-back, which is kind of cool.
Did.
Ohtani cheated.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway.
It does matter because you're supposed to wait until the ball hits the stands, until the ball leaves the ballpark, until you get another pitch. The MLB allowed him to just take swing after swing after swing. The ball was still in the air, and then he got another swing.
See, this is one of the takes that you have that's better for television than a podcast.
This is horrible.
No, this is a Stephen A. type, like, hey, look at me, look at me.
It's 100% accurate, though.
It's nonsensical. It's a home run derby. Who cares?
I
It's
care.
about fun.
I care.
Let's just
Follow
see
the rules.
The guys
Follow
hit.
the rules. It's not that hard.
Okay, all right.
Follow the rules.
All right.
It's not my fault that Ohtani took 25 minutes to learn how to hit a home run in the home run derby. Not
Maybe
my
there was
problem.
a language barrier. Couldn't read the rules.
Right? Yeah. And to that, real quick, I do want to mention, not great that Stephen A. Smith,
Segue.
we're going to go
Yeah.
right into Stephen A. Smith here. Not great that Stephen A. Smith said Ohtani can't be the face of MLB, considering he needs a translator to talk to the media. Bad take.
Yeah.
Bad take there for sure. He then doubled down by giving a half-hearted apology, and then had to triple down by giving a written-out apology, and then had to quadruple down by giving an apology on air. And then ESPN's just going to look the other way and be like, this is our boy, but...
They basically spent the First Take episode after he said all these things. They took the entire show just bringing on all these people
Just to
to tell him why he was wrong.
It was
And
literally the roast of Stephen A. Smith on Monday.
It was painful.
Or whatever
it was
day
painful.
he said that.
The thing is, like, I understood, and if you like read the entire excerpt and read it or heard it within its context, you understood the sentiment in which he was trying to convey.
For sure.
However, there were some words that were not exactly choicely selected, and
in this article
But
I read made a
this
really good
happens.
point. It doesn't matter about who the face of MLB is, because it really just doesn't matter. You look at Mike
Exactly.
Trout. Nobody cares about Mike Trout.
That's what I was trying to get at last
Yeah.
week. It's like it doesn't move the needle for baseball anyway. So
Nobody
why does it?
cares.
It's not Ohtani's fault. It's MLB.
Nobody cares. And then he went on his show and started talking about how Team USA lost to Nigeria by saying things like, there's no excuse to lose to Nigeria, to lose to some dude, Gabe Namandi, who goes by Gabe Vincent for the Miami Heat, or Caleb Agata, or Nama, however the hell you pronounce his name. Also not great for a couple of reasons. First off, just not super cool to say. Second off, that's terrible journalism. The fact that he just runs on, he doesn't know how to pronounce anybody's names. At least we admit, we're like, I don't know how to say this guy's name. We're going to try it anyway. This guy gets paid $8 million a year. By the way, let's just make that very clear. This guy makes $8 million a year. The fact that he's not
He also has no time in the day, though. His schedule, like, not trying to make excuses for him,
For
but
sure.
there is no busier person on the planet.
Don't care. I would love to. I would be busy 23 hours a day if they gave me $8 million a year.
Fair.
I'd sleep an hour a day. I don't care.
Let's see how long you last.
That's fine. All right. What is your jabroni of the week?
I got two, just real quick. I'm not going to explain them because we're short for time here. One of them being LeBron. Also, I just want to say that we should just have a LeBron segment every week because we know that he's going to give us something as he attempts to stay relevant weekly.
Yep. Oh, my
he
God.
called himself a
God.
DILF and his wife a MILF. And
I hate him. I hate
there's
LeBron.
nothing more to say. So next one, which I don't even remember right now. Oh, the reporter, I couldn't tell, but he called Bryson DeChambeau Brooks. He said, "Hey, Brooks."
Got him.
But he kind of, like, at a glance, if you didn't, like, actually pay attention, first of all, he's not usually wearing his typical hat, and he's kind of got the mustache, goatee scruff that Brooks typically
He does look
rocks.
a little Brooksy right there.
Yeah, he does. So that's
really funny, actually.
Yeah, hilarious. Topical.
All right. Mine is, let's play this quick video here of a guy eating hot dogs. We probably should have talked about this last week.
It's fine. He's the greatest athlete of all time. No big deal.
It's absolutely incredible what he can do. He just buried 76 hot dogs and buns,
and then just goes on a complete bender afterward.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's very impressive stuff for sure.
Go! And we are underway. 7, 6.
And
it comes to something else to get this off the ground, and I hope that
That's fine. But again, he ate 76, which is a new world record, breaking his previous from last year of 75. That is stupid. That's in 10 minutes, by the way. He eats more than 7 hot dogs a minute. Don't understand how that is humanly possible. Yeah, very impressive. It must really. That doesn't fit. Never mind. Yeah, sports fact. I don't think I'm going to fit this word in. Sports fact of the week. In 1919, an MLB pitcher earned a complete game win despite being struck by lightning.
Good for him.
He got hit by lightning. Literally, like, it pushed, like, collapsed him on the field. He got back up and tossed a complete game.
Okay.
Could you imagine a pitcher in today's day and age doing that? Like, could you imagine? No. Who's really soft? All baseball players are soft. just getting destroyed by lightning, just stepping up to the plate and just tossing a complete game.
It would be unfortunate.
It'd be very unfortunate. All right, closing time.
Okay, again, quickly. USA, embarrassing the nation in basketball, not being very good, but also the referees within FIBA are embarrassing the U.S. because they are not calling the fouls that are typically given to players for very ticky-tacky touch incidents.
Love to see it.
And so our players look like goddamn fools because they are throwing their bodies into people and then looking at the refs, and the refs are like, hey, don't you have to get back down the court on defense? And so I love it.
Which is
it's
really
great.
interesting because it's a flip flop from what it used to be.
Exactly.
Internationally, it used to be really soft,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow over the last 20 years, the NBA became softer than that.
Right.
And I don't know quite how that happened, but it's actually really funny to watch, like you said.
No, it is.
So I actually messed up my order. Stephen A. Smith was supposed to be my jabroni, and Joey Chestnut was supposed to be my closing time. That's a good point. Why would I put Joey Chestnut as my jabroni? Anyway, my closing time, just to make one happen here, was Richard Sherman getting arrested after his crazy everything that happened on Monday, Tuesday. Caller, which was his wife, described him as being drunk and belligerent, said he was threatening to kill himself, said he was being aggressive, wrestled her uncle, and sent text messages to people saying he's going to hang himself. Said he drank 2 bottles of liquor. Not good for Mr. Sherman. The fact
Get out of jail
doesn't matter.
free card. If he
Luckily,
can't touch him if he's going to kill himself.
Right, it's the
withhold
classic
the restraints.
homage. If someone's mad at you, just say I'm going to kill
Whoa,
myself,
whoa, hey,
and
take
that
it easy.
that puts you then on the good graces. Everyone's like, whoa, boy, okay, sorry about that.
He's just operating on a different level intellectually.
He's on a different level than all of us right now. But luckily, he did not. I mean, I'm glad he wrestled the uncle and not,
Nobody was harmed
That was
in
nice.
the making of this incident.
Well, except for that concrete barrier he ran into.
Right, yeah.
That poor concrete barrier did get hit pretty good.
So with all that being said, I'm sure Seattle's dying to sign him now.
Yeah, I don't think Seattle's in a huge rush to sign Richard Sherman. God, the Legion of Boom's had their problems with Earl Thomas, Brandon Brown, or Richard Sherman now.
Cam
Not
hasn't.
great.
Cam holding it down.
Cam is holding down the LOB fort. So only 3 minutes over. That's not too bad. Oh, someone more important than us right now?
No, I'm ready to sign off. I'm good.
That's fine. Whatever. All right. Well, stay frosty out there, literally, because it's going to be hot.
Yep.
Again, another 93, 94 day. We'll be back here again next week for episode number 52 here on The Locker Room, presented by Spokane Talks in the Holly Mason building. We will see you back here next week.
The world has changed a lot in 50 years, and Kimley Haygood has changed with it. We still provide our customers with the highest level of service, whether it's financing, construction management, property management and maintenance, leasing, or sales. Our team is here to help you make the best decisions with your real estate.
Thanks for watching The Locker Room on Spokane Talks. Check us out on Facebook as well as our other platforms. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by emailing us at info@SpokaneTalksOnline.com. And for more sports news, opinions, and content, follow Justin and me on Twitter.